Welcome everybody. Welcome to our third in a series of webinars which we will continue to be rolling out this year, in which we will be highlighting how Prinect software and our expertise can offer much needed help during these difficult times of COVID by offering some ideas and solutions. Prinect is expandable and adaptable in so many ways, some of which you may not have considered. And so we would like to demonstrate some of its unique features designed to get more out of your different departments and facilities, the aim to bring them closer together and hopefully make you more efficient. Ultimately, we'd like to show you via these forthcoming webinars that by investing in Heidelberg, we are more than just about machinery. We have ideas and solutions to support you and hopefully be the perfect partner. In this session, we will show you something a little bit more advanced. We would like to show you how we can import jobs from your other departments upstream, maybe your estimating and planning department. But by doing so, we'd like to show you how you can do that, not by using a JDF file, but by using a CSV file instead. Would you like more automation? Do your pre-press operators currently create jobs manually? Would you like to have jobs coming in from your admin department directly into your Prinect workflow? However, are you unsure whether your MIS that you currently have will support the JDF format required to integrate into Prinect? It may be JDF, but it might be the wrong level of JDF that is required to contain all the stripping parameters needed in order to set the workflow up to create your jobs, your impositions, and process accordingly. Well, there is another way. We have the option of using a CSV file to import into Prinect instead of a JDF file. There's a greater possibility that your MIS vendor or your developers could probably produce one of these CSV files from their system maybe. Far easier than trying to develop JDF, which has taken some MIS vendors years to refine and perfect. You could even just use an Excel spreadsheet, which is something I'd like to show you today in a demonstration. And combined with our smart automation module, you could get the automation that you so desire within the workflow. But first of all, what is a CSV file? Well, a CSV file is a comma-separated value file. It's a shopping list of what is required for a job, and it can act as a picking list for Prinect to respond to. With its smart automation technology, it can automatically create impositions and workflows from a library of a few base templates into a myriad of different combinations. And what are the benefits to this? Well, you could end up with a much higher input volume of jobs, achievable en masse. You could have better communication of job requirements coming directly from your estimating production department straight into the workflow and also further on downstream onto the presses. You can reduce your touch points in your workflow, making your standardized jobs more cost effective while also freeing up your staff to work on the more complex work. And ultimately, more standardization by using templated workflows results in less errors and better consistency of work. So let's see how this works. Let me do a demonstration for you. I'm going to start off by showing you what a CSV file looks like. I am now looking at my spreadsheet in Excel, and I have a collection of 5 jobs loaded into my spreadsheet. And I have columns of information: job number, a description, job name, maybe a comment, a product code. These product codes are crucial to how the system works. This is a hook for the system to latch onto to understand whether it is a flyer, a brochure, it's saddle stitched, single-sided, double-sided, so on and so forth. I even have a link path to where the PDF resides. So when this CSV file drops into my workflow, and you'll see it drop into this CSV Import folder here later on, It will also have the path to pull the PDF into the workflow as well, although you could add the PDFs later once you're in the workflow if you want to. We have the size of the trim, the number of colors, the paper it's required to go onto, whether we will do this job litho. We could do it digital, so we could have a combination of litho and digital workflows, especially with our own Versify range having our DFE, our digital front end, built into the workflow. We can have the desired amount print run required for this job, a due date, how it's going to bind, and how many pages are in the job. So there's plenty of information there for the system to react to. Now I could just go to File, I could say Save As, and I could save this as a CSV file. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use this little button that we've set up in Excel, which will hopefully write the file directly into this folder. So I'll say OK to that. My file has been written. And if I have a look inside of this folder, see, there's my CSV file, and it's just going to digest, and eventually it will disappear as it gets processed. So now let's switch over to the workflow and see what's happening in Prinect. So here we are now in Cockpit. Already we can see our jobs starting to appear here. There we go, live, boom, boom, boom. There's 5 jobs that suddenly appeared. And you can see within Cockpit, the information has been passed across. Job number, job name, who the customer is, the product code, when it's due, and also what it's doing right now. So in the background, it's feeding off some base templates, which it can then expand upon by using the additional information that it has for each job to pick the right processes and go and create the right impositions. And this is actually happening live now in the background. So some of these icons are changing from new to processing based upon when things are ready. I can see the first job here. The fashion job has already got its pages and is busy processing. And if I just move this across and have a little look at it, then I can see that my file has come on in. Here it is. I have it in position, and it's stepped it up 4 times already on that sheet. If I look at my next job, I can see pages are in. I can see my imposition. And this time, it's A5. It stepped it up 8 times. Believe it or not, that has used the same base template. And this is where the smart automation can flex its muscles and flex the job to adapt accordingly. I've got another flyer here, which is landscape. Let's have a look. So again, the same imposition file has adapted to that artwork and placed it in. I have another job that's a double-sided flyer, so this has used a different template, in this case a work and turn. And then I also have something a little more involved, a brochure that's got multi-sections, work and turn cover, and multi-sections within. And you can see down the bottom here, it's actually processing the pages as we speak live. Now, as you saw from my last demonstration, I showed you pre-press portal service. So we could have a situation where the job is so automated, no one really has to press a button within the workflow. We could use the approval mechanism from pre-press portal service for the customer to approve the job remotely and thus release the job. Taking a little look underneath the bonnet, we can see inside the engine of the job, and we can see the processes that have automatically been brought in and linked together in a chain, and it's just waiting for the auto sheet mechanism in order to release the job, which it's just doing now. You can see the approval mechanism at the bottom there. It's just waiting for customer approval. Well, that was a different demonstration that I did earlier. I'm going to not repeat that. I just want to show you here that we've even been able to schedule this job. So if we go to our inbuilt scheduler within the workflow, here you can see on the plate setter and on the press, my brochure job is already sitting there ready on the Prinect scheduler. That's because we set up an automatic scheduling rule for this to take place. So hopefully what I've shown you there with very little effort is that I have dropped 5 jobs into the system, and they've all processed slightly different based upon the criteria of the job within the CSV file. So what's the ultimate benefit? Well, it's to get more out of your equipment by using software. Because we've identified that over the lifespan of a job, 55% of the time is spent before you even make a plate. And where in the past Heidelberg would have focused all of its R&D onto machinery, CTP devices, presses, and post-press, we've realized that we can't improve in these areas if the preceding processes are at full capacity and you are completely maxed out. So by using software to automate things and standardize things, we will be able to give you more capacity in this area, hopefully to then improve on your machinery. So rather than looking at the machinery in terms of improvement, we've decided we really need to start looking more on the processes. We need to focus on the yellow bar. That's because your yellow bar, your people and process related tasks, typically take up 37% of the burden that influences your overall equipment efficiency, which typically in the industry is around about 27%. Now, there's a realistic performance to what we can do with machinery in terms of improving its performance. Machines already run fast, but we have to stop the presses to do plate changes. You may have shift changes. There's only so much you can do. We can't run them 24/7 without ever stopping. So really focusing on these process and people-related tasks is where the real gains can be made. If we can get this down to 10%, we could ultimately then increase your overall equipment effectiveness up to 54%. And we can help you do this with Prinect software and support from us. We can come up with solutions and ideas. So to finish off today's webinar session, I have a couple of question and answers. Firstly, how do you get hold of these modules that I've just shown you? The CSV connector, in order to take a CSV file into the Prinect workflow, and the smart automation technology, which reacted and responded to it. Well, providing your Prinect system is on a contract to keep it onto the latest version, then you can purchase the required licenses. If you're not covered by a contract, then investing in the Production Manager subscription package would be the only way to get onto the latest version. And anybody that already has Production Manager can apply for these license modules free of charge. Are there any other costs? Yes, there are. There would be some configuration and some training costs to set up the CSV and the smart automation workflow. As for your MIS vendor being able to create CSV files in the first place, you'd have to go talk to them. Does the CSV connection method offer any feedback to an MIS? Unfortunately, no, it doesn't. This is a unidirectional technology process. However, we do also have an API extension available for Prinect if developers wish to extract the reporting information to use within their MISs. It would require some programming skills from whoever is developing the software, the MIS software that wants to get that information. It's not for us to provide, it's for us to open up the back door of the software and offer programmers and developers to delve in and pull out what they require. And lastly, are there any successful installations of CSV and smart automation already in the market? Yes, we do have a few customers who are already using CSV with smart automation. One has managed to get their MIS vendor to export CSV, and another customer has even managed to use it with InFocus Switch. So yes, there are successful examples of this software out on the market working, which is why we thought it was important to bring it to your attention. So, if you have any further questions from what I've demonstrated today, please don't hesitate to contact me, dave.naylor@heidelberg.com. And on that note, I thank you very much for watching this presentation. Take care. Goodbye.